Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome into episode number 84 of Clark After Dark. And your boy CC, he's a little hoarse right now if you can't tell. But you got a little bit of corn bringing you in tonight, a little bit of falling away from me. And that sounds good to me, folks. Never went wrong with a little bit of rock and roll here on a Monday afternoon. Recording this podcast a day earlier than we typically do here, as we've all got some busy weeks this week. Cortland's got some graduations and some other things he's got to take care of this week. But the podcast will come out Wednesday morning, as always, as scheduled. So looking forward to that and so much more here this week. This is the 84th edition of Clark After Dark. The weather is beautiful outside today here in the dirty South. Nature finally letting us get one in over the weekend, this time for $30,000 on the line of the USRA Factory Stock Spring Nationals at the Boot Hill Speedway. The Illinois Speed Weeks with Flow Racing Night in America for the Super Late Model Tour was not quite as lucky this week, as two of those got rained out. They did get one in at Spoon River earlier last week, Cortland, and they also got in Fairbury American Legion Speedway. So Falls, it got Fallsy on Saturday night. Brandon Shepard getting the win over there. Lots of different things to talk about, man. I'll go ahead and bring on my co-host of this podcast now, Cortland Smith. Man, I got to get used to my voice not really working 100% here. Your voice seems a little hoarse. I'm kind of struggling right now. Have you fully recovered from Boot Hill Speedway? Because I'm telling you, she hit us right in the eyes Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. How you feeling, big dog?
Shoot, it was a slobber knocker on the track, and it was a slobber knocker to my sleep schedule and my voice. You hear me? I mean, it's I rolled in the first hour today, and I looked at all the kids and said, I swear, if y'all raise y'all's voice a bit, I'm going to lose it, and I ain't got the voice to do it today. And then I had football practice on top of that this afternoon, and you got to get a little louder with the old lineman down there. So yeah, it's my old voice is beaten and battered like some of them cars that made some super runs this past weekend. But we're doing all right. Like you said, busy weeks here closing out the school year, graduation, sports awards, everything in between finals, and making sure all the kids are ready to take their final exams. So, yeah, I appreciate Cody and Jeffrey joining us here on a Monday, and we're getting everything rocking and rolling, man. What a great weekend we had at Boot Hill Speedway. $30,000 went home to somebody racing old stalker. Like we live in an absolutely crazy world. I'm absolutely blessed for everything I've been able to do. I was blessed to be able to on the call with you again. Like I was sitting there looking the other day, and I'm like, I think I've announced 8 events. 2 of them that paid $30,000. Another one was 2 10,000 win stock car races. Like there's not many announcers out there that are 8 races in have announced races that like 7 5-figure paydays, right? Like, so man, I'm just I'm so happy, man. I really can't complain a whole lot. Life's busy, but I wouldn't trade this crazy, wonderful life the good Lord blessed me with for anything, man. And it really is fun. We had a heck of a weekend. And even though my voice is giving out right now, we're here. We're gonna have a good time. ZC, take her away from here. I'm about to lose it already.
I wonder, like, as we feel like I could, I probably need a little bit of a honey tea, whatever the hell it is, get my voice a little bit better. But I wonder what Tommy Williams Jr., what his arms and shoulders feel like today. You think he's pretty worn out? How do you think the back shoulders and the arms feel today?
I would think he's pretty worn out, and there were several times where he either had a bent axle or the wheel was packed full of mud and he was getting chattered around, and I'm sure he took a couple hits where the old shoulders or ribs or I'm not saying he's sore, but I guarantee there's a spot or two on him that like, man, I did race 113 laps this past weekend. Like I guarantee there are some parts on him. It's like, whew, I can feel it today.
You know what's really funny is when we started off the weekend, we go over there Thursday, and I'm talking to him. I was doing that pit walk. This is just all freelance, off the cuff. I go over there interview. I didn't realize at the time that Mickey Steele had gotten into him on the racetrack, like after the yellow had came out on practice night. And they were both like, or Mickey had been over there apologizing to Tommy Williams about what just happened. And I didn't really get the full gist of what was going on. So I'm getting his side of the frustration from Mickey. He's just apologizing. I walk over to Tommy. I'm like, Tommy, how's it going, man? How's the car feeling practice? He said, it was pretty good, Zach Clark, until this idiot ran us over. Again, I'm not calling you an idiot, Mickey. I'm just quoting what my boy Tommy said. And I was like, whoa, didn't know what was going on here. But evidently, Mickey's an idiot and Tommy's pissed. So I'm going to go about my business. But the point of this is the brand new Ingalls Racing Performance chassis for the old 151 camp was just not hunting the way he wanted it, right? And how many guys did I walk up to during that pit walk that just said, oh, we feel like shit, or we don't like how the car feels? And I'm like, buddy, it's just practice. Like when you line up and race side by side, it's going to be a whole different ball game. Like there were so many guys that did not like how their car felt on practice night. And it's like, man, I get it. We want the car to feel great every time we hit the racetrack, but we know that's not what happens in a perfect world here in dirt track racing, right? Like your car might like this a little bit better than what it likes that. But point of all this is Tommy Williams Jr. made a soup run for the ages from a guy who said that my car handles like shit on Thursday. Boy, did his world really turn around. And if his car did handle like shit, by the time the feature race rolled around on Saturday night, he had done rolled his way, Cortland Smith, from the, I can't even do the alphabet. This son of a gun went from the F main to the E main to the D main to the C to the B, right into the old A. And then what's funny is he took 10th. We were taking the top 10, and he would finish 10th. And like those first 3 races, he was just in there by half a cat's whisker. Like he was just getting there, right? But it was impressive from a guy who said my car's shit to Saturday after I talked to him, standing down there. Jeffery Abbey's up to his ears in oil. They're tearing the motor down. And Tommy's down there going live at 6:30 in the morning as we're tearing the 1837 car. And I said, Tommy, how much did you learn on your race car? He said, oh, you know how he talks. He said,
yeah.
We learned a hell of a lot. I think I got a rocket ship now. They better look out at Kennedale next week. And I said, well, I hear you, Tommy Williams Jr., but what a damn soup run of the ages for the 151 car.
Dude, it was so awesome to see it, and that's why we love the format. And I didn't realize that the interviews and all, like, it was really cool to go interview him twice, right? Like, he was hung up with Bo Perry, and the dude's over there fist pumping. And he tells me, like, can I say something? I'm like, sure. He goes, I love you, Mama. Happy Mother's Day. And like the dude is wadded up, like stuck with Bo Perry. And then we have another red flag, and I go over there and I talk to him, and he's just LIVIN, man. And so really, really cool to see Tommy Williams. And also don't sleep, man. Drake Finley. We didn't hide. Not that we didn't hype him up enough. We mentioned it, but Drake Finley also made the same super, and they were in the same FEDCB, except Finley came up one spot short to make the A in his B main. But in total, Tommy Williams Jr. passed over 42 cars on Saturday night, ran 113 laps. Drake Finley passed over 30 cars on Saturday night, and just take 113 minus 50. What is that? 63, right? So, man, just a really, really cool really cool run out of both of them. I know Jason Ingles also made a run as well, but the story of the night was Tommy Williams. Like, by the time he made it to the A main, there was no right front fender. The right front bumper had done been chopped off. The left rear quarter panel gone, but vibes were still good. They were still slinging wrenches down there. So really, really cool to see that out of 151 camp. And also want to give a shout out to Drake Finley and that Smotherman ride, man. They were about the same case scenario. They were the one that had the saws all down there, ripping the bumper off and all different kinds of things. So really, really cool to see those two guys make the soup runs and do it together, right? Like you got to think about it. Like a lot of those races, they were probably nose to tail in a lot of those situations. Like you said, they were like getting the last couple spots to make it in. So that's why we love it, man. It was really, really cool to see those runs.
It was, man. It was the racetrack was in really, let's be honest, man, the racetrack was in pretty damn good shape all weekend, but that's kind of what we've come to love and expect out of Boot Hill Speedway, right? Like it's always pretty consistent, and we got listen, man, we were down there in the pits Friday. We thought that it was a possibility that we would get some rain on Friday night. So we were really hoping we could get the races over before 1, which, I thought would be, Saturday we would have been really up against it. Like we would have up Shit's Creek without a paddle, by God. But Friday night we got her over, and it came down a monsoon in the pits. Like we were down there in the fuel shed, man. It came down and started thunder and lightning. And man, like if it would have rained any more, Cortland, like dude, like Bubba, before Bubba went to bed, you saw me tell him, I said, Bubba, if you wake up tomorrow and even think about canceling these races, I'm going to fight you. I quit and we're no longer friends. And he said, these races, we're not canceling, man. I promise we're racing. I said, I know. I said, I just needed you to reassure me that we're racing here tonight. Everybody was already there, but we did get a good bit of rain, which honestly, then that's the next thing I want to talk about is that's kind of, man, what had us have such a very long night at the racetrack. Yes, we had a shit ton of cautions on Saturday, and that's just kind of a part of it, right? Like, yeah, we can chalk it up to say you're racing for $30,000. Listen, guys, we're not going to make any excuses about it. Nobody in the country should ever be racing at 3:00 in the morning. And we're the first that are going to tell you that we don't want to be doing that. Bubba Jones, Rollo, we were all talking right after this race last year because we were still racing at 2:00 in the morning when Dustin took the checkers. And we were talking like, what do we need to do to make sure we're not doing this again next year? And people say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over, the whole deal there. But I mean, really, it's Cortland. Do you add a race on Thursday and just go ahead and race on Thursday since everybody's already there? The deal is not everybody can make it to practice, right? We ended up with 128 factory stocks, but we only had 89. I say only, but we had 89 cars in practice. Now, if you do have a practice, if you don't have a practice Thursday, you go ahead and race the event. I guess you'll find out, right? If these guys will still show up and support the event. But again, the point of that is you got to have all 100 plus of these cars in order to pay this purse. So if you add a Thursday race, then some guys may not have the best night. They might go ahead and leave and not come back. Well, then you're losing money on the pit passes, this, that, and the third, and all that. There's a lot of different variables and logistics that go into putting on one of these kind of races. I know Bubba was talking about maybe starting at 4 o'clock, but man, we've seen it racing under the sun at Boot Hill Speedway, as well as you can prep this racetrack, racing under the sun with how the sun sets over there. Man, we don't want a 1-lane racetrack, right? And we don't want these drivers to be out there waging war for $30,000 on a shit racetrack. So I think between now and next year, we got to find a way to figure out how to get this format down to a T. But outside of that, the alphabet soup, the racing when it was green was truly phenomenal, man. Like, it was an outstanding race weekend. All things considered, just the one thing that we would have changed if we could would be the time. But again, it takes a lot of time to run through 200 race cars as well, Cortland.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's just talk about the track state first, because, man, early on in round one of those heat races, you had guys coming from 10th and winning heat races. Like, I know maybe them first couple heats, they were kind of mudded up in one lane and everybody got stretched out early. But man, from round one all the way to round two, that thing could not have raced any better. And I think a lot of guys leave. That's why 129 guys show up. That's why everybody knows, is because Bubba and Rollo have such a good grasp on that racetrack. And from Friday night, practice night, man, the racetrack was even good. Like, there's dudes throwing slide jobs in practice, and I was like, whoa, pump the brakes, fellas. Like, this really don't mean nothing, right? But man, it was just so good all weekend long. And from round one all the way to round two, and then all the way through the soup runs, you had a track that if you were faster, you can go around and pass that guy. Your car had to be maneuverable by all means. But, format wise, like you said, nobody wants to be racing that late in the night. The only thing I would suggest, man, because whether it's Boot Hill or you go to Fairbury or you go to Lucas Oil Speedway, anywhere, like if you day racing, like, you go ahead and just throw that in a trash can, because like it just doesn't, it's just not what we need. Like, I don't care where you are. There is no magical wand to do it and make it good. The only thing I would even suggest is that I've seen them do it at the Wild West Shootout, and I just speak on experiences that I have firsthand experience. They hot lap and they qualify early on in the day, they rework it and they wait. And the minute that sun literally beats off the racetrack and there's no more sunlight on the racetrack, they go heat race action, and they'll come around and blow the 10-minute horn, let everybody know, hey, mods, you're up next. But they heat rate, or they hot lap and they qualified everybody. Then we knew a track prep was going to happen. And the minute that sun dropped down and there was no more sunlight on the racetrack, they went back racing. So maybe that's what we could do or try next year, is just go there and hot lap. Because we did have to hot lap the limited mods and the B mods, and then we had to run those F mains. But I mean, even that 30 minutes right there, you just take that out the way and boom. And the minute that sun goes down, like, we're all sitting there waiting. And I'm telling you, we got some dude on a four-wheeler. There's plenty of four-wheelers around there. I promise you, somebody would love the job to take a horn and ride around there and just go burr, and you got your 5-minute warning to go on the track. That'd be about the only scenario. Other than that, man, I mean, we hate racing until 3 o'clock, but the format, that's what we love about it. You don't want to race Thursday because, like you said, a lot of guys, the part of what makes this awesome is that a dude that works an 8 to 5 job, that's a mechanic or works a tow truck. Yeah. I think one of Chris Davis's buddy texted me and said I was working his night shift so he could come, right? Like, it's stuff like that. Like, these guys, that's why we love factory stock, because this 8 to 5 dude, not a lot of them can make it on Thursday. Like, we got so many big races that these dudes use up all their vacation and sick leave to already come. So adding another day that they have to show up, I don't know, man. If there was a perfect answer, I would give you a perfect answer. And I've thrown out 15 different answers, and probably none of them are right, So it is what it is. But overall, man, such a great weekend. Double pass point heat races. That's just like the factory stock staple at the big shows. So it is what it is. Super Run's awesome.
And we could really get off into the weeds here on a lot of that stuff, right? Like, because honestly, and because I really want to bring Jeffery Abbey on, our $30,000 USRA factory stock spring nationals winner. He's deserving of it, man. He drove such a phenomenal race. He's one of the best race car drivers in this country, and I think a lot of people know that. But I think a lot of people around the Arklatex have really just started seeing that here recently, because Jeffrey's a stock car guy, and we don't really run a whole lot of IMCA stock cars or USRA stock cars unless you go down the road to Rocket, right? So you don't really get to see Jeffrey race around us often, outside of him winning the factory stock frenzy for $7,500 at Texarkana last year, right? So it's been really, really cool having Jeffrey up here. We'll bring him on here in just a few moments. Before we do that, though, before we bring him on, because I know fans want to hear us kind of chalk it up and just kind of talk about the race briefly and a few more of the storylines from the 50 lapper. Let's just talk about that a little bit real quick. Excuse me. So early on, Justin Whitehead started on the outside of the front row. Jeffrey started fourth. They exchanged sliders, right? I talked about the 18S. Cody Smith was never a factor in this race. Like right from the jump, he faded to the third. And again, I don't know when he hit the skidder tire. I'm not sure that I ever mentioned it on the broadcast. I was calling the race. I was trying to stay alive up there, folks. But yeah, he clipped it. Apparently he hit the skidder tire there and broke a tie rod there. So the 18S car was never quite a factor, which is surprising to some. But again, he's the reigning king of the hill. When we come back and race for 10 grand, he'll be a factor once again in Greenwood. We had 4 different leaders, multiple lead changes in the 50 lap main event. Again, early on, it was 36J in the H237, Whitehead and Abbey going at it. And man, Whitehead was really, really good right around the top. But the H237 of Abbey, he was just so good. It's almost like his race car, that B&B race car. It never gets fully straight. It's almost like he's always arced. He's making the racetrack as short as it possibly can be. And when you watch him drive this factory stock, it looks pretty similar to how he drives his stock car, kind of off the right front, all the way around the racetrack. And then after Whitehead's departure, Neil Kemp now becomes a factor, right? The Club 20 car up there in no man's land where the Club 20 typically doesn't find himself married around the top, ripping it with reckless abandon. Abbey and Neil Kemp start throwing sliders on each other, but Jeffery Abbey stayed committed right there through the middle. He kept throwing them short sliders right off of 4. He'd leave Neil a lane, but man, he was just so good at keeping the momentum wound up underneath that CRS suspension B&B race car. And it was truly, man, again, I would have loved to see this race go in and maybe get into lap traffic, see a good long green flag run get in. Last year's 30K, we saw Hennigan come, we had a 22 lap green flag run at the end of it, and him and Ricky Ingles were really able to settle it. Well, these guys were able to settle it too. And to be honest with you, I think if we would even have a longer green flag run, I think maybe Abbey would have checked out even farther. As good as his car was, that may have ended up being the case. But again, if he gets into lap traffic, if Neil's not too far back, then man, we could have a hell of a race through lap traffic too. We never really quite got to see that. What was your take and maybe a couple of the other storylines? I mean, dude, Chris Sawyer finished 5th in this race. Yeah. Dalton Faulkner, 26th to 3rd. Kyle Cummings is still that dude. Driving the Busch Light Beer, Eagle Distributing 17 for Bobby Jordan. He comes home 4th. Chris Davis up 18 spots to finish 6th. Dude, Josh Daugherty, Mr. Consistency. He finished 4th in this race last year. He finishes 7th. Your reigning Boot Hill Speedway track champion is 7th, defends the home turf. Derek Grigsby also defended the home turf. Comes home with an 8 right there inside of the top 10. And dude, how about this? This is cool for me. 4 Texans, including your winner of Jeffery Abbey inside of the top 10. But how about 5 drivers from the state of Louisiana and the lone soldier, the Raging Razorback from the state of Arkansas, Neil Kemp. But man, great runs for Tyler Russell, Jesse Mazzell, Logan Gordon, all making the A. I don't know that we mentioned them, did we? I think you mentioned Logan Gordon, but did you or I mention Jesse Mazzell or Tyler Russell on last week's podcast? No. I think not. No disrespect to them, right?
No disrespect at all. And, we talk about some of those guys real quick before I take my analysis of the race. Dude, I walked up to practice Thursday night and I saw Tyler Russell rolling around the racetrack and I looked at Natalie and I said, like, I ain't really seen this guy race a whole lot, but like that dude was quick on practice night. Like his stuff looked good. And I walked by the pit area and he had that thing kind of sitting there and it kind of already had that little lean to it. Like I love standing like getting into turn 3 and getting into turn 1 and watching the front end of the cars get to the corner. And so like he went in the corner, he was rolling that bottom, like, dude, this 14th car is gonna be pretty good this weekend. Like I ain't really seen him a whole lot, like of course in person, but like he's gonna be pretty quick. And it was really cool to see him get a good run. You talk about some of these different guys, Blaine Murphy finishes 12th, but I kind of got this little nugget right here. We always claim like, the Arklatex guys or King Dingalings in the factory stocks. So like, hey, I'm starting to get that time where it's like these out of town dudes ain't no joke. I mean, Jeffery Abbey, I mean, we know he's a shoe. Like but like he ain't no Arklatex, every weekend type of dude. We claim Daff, but he's from down, Cut and Shoot, Texas. Like, you got him. You got Daff. You got Chris Davis running in 6th place. I went over after the B main. I gave him a fist bump. I was like, dude, your car looks really good tonight. And he just kind of gave me the head nod like, yeah, well, like we're feeling pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, like, I know we love to claim that Arklatex, like we're the baddest factory stocks. And they come over here and that's always been the test, right? Is come over here to our big races. Well, now these out of town dudes are showing up and they're putting our guys to the test, fellas. So like, I couldn't outrun them. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I know I couldn't, but boys, y'all got to step your game up if you want to keep that title of best factory stocks in the country, right? But it's all fun and games. That's just kind of the race inside the race, right? But when you break down the race, dude, you could go anywhere you wanted to. Like wherever your car was best, you could move. Jeffrey was down there. He was moving lines all over the place. He had a crew guy in the infield. He was telling them go up, down, left, right, diamond, do this, that, and the other. Club 20 gets up there. He starts ripping the lip and it's and he was like hustling it. And I don't know if people got to appreciate it. And I didn't do a good job of telling the story of he had a topless car, and you could actually see him like in 1 and 2. He would hit that rut sometimes, and you could see him sawing on it. Yeah, like he was working it. Like it showed you how much work that these guys, even though they make it look so easy, like how much work is on the wheel. And you just multiply that times 3 with the work on the pedals. So, man, what a phenomenal race. We can sit here and talk about how good the track was all day long. You watch the race, you see it. You don't get races like that if the track ain't no good. And you also don't get races like that if the drivers up front ain't that good. At one point, Logan Gordon is 3 wide for the lead. Shout out to L88, dude. I mean, like, it's a young gun that is, is essentially rising, like skyrocketing. Right? I mean, he's doing a heck of a job. Tayton Perkins, another young gun, one we almost left off. Those are 2 young guys that ain't been around this sport really long, and they're making headways in these big races. And it was just really, really cool to see, man. And just you went through the top 5. What an eclectic mix. You got Jeffery Abbey, the IMCA stock car guy, Mr. Club 20. I threw it in out of the broadcast. The 2 shock builders are running 1-2. A pretty cool little storyline there. Daff is 3rd. Kyle Cummins makes a sparing start. Chris Sawyer, dude. Shout out Saw Dog, dude. You don't know how pumped he was. And Thursday night, when I walked over there at one point, he was ready to just cuss the whole weekend away. Like he couldn't get his stuff to run right. They had, it was just Scotty Shade performance was over there wrenching on this thing. And dude, shout out to him, man, because that is a run that you'll never forget. And that's just really cool for him. And, Chris Davis had a really good run 6. You talk about Josh Darter. We went through all them. But, man, just what a crazy weekend we had. Racetrack was phenomenal. That race for the lead, you would have loved to see the 36J and 880M wouldn't have broke. You absolutely hate that for them too. Yeah, I think Josh lost the transmission. Justin lost the rear end. Both of them pulled off. I didn't really get to go talk to them or anything after that. And, you'd have loved to seen it race out. But at H237, cuz, we saw it last year at the King of the Hill, on the Friday night. And then we saw it again, and we'll get to talk to him about it. I got a question about his driving style around Boot Hill. So whenever we want to bring him on, we can. But dude, what a crazy race it was! What a phenomenal race it was, and a race that deserved a $30,000 payday with the field and the track.
Absolutely, man. Again, just reiterate, Josh Martin had a heartbreak, dude. I mean, he ran at the start of the race. Of course, he started 6th. He won the second B main, so he started 6th and was rolling pretty good there. He'd have been the 6th Louisiana guy in the top 10 if he could have held serve for what he had. I mean, he had a really, really good weekend. As Josh won the previous 2 races coming into Boot Hill, I mean, had he won that 3rd one we talked about all the weekend, it would have been for 30 large, and obviously would have been the biggest win of his career, and been the largest paying win for everybody that was in this field come Saturday night. But man, you could really feel the heartbreak for him because he had his best weekend of his racing career, right? I mean, back in, I think 2019, he was in the top 8 cars, at the factory stock 50 at Arcletex. That race paid $4,000 to win. I remember how fired up he was because he was just trying to put his name on the map, right? He just wanted to be mentioned amongst these guys. And I'm telling you, man, Josh Martin has not quit. Like, that dude has worked his ass off to be able to be in conversations like the one we're having right now. You know what I mean? To be talking about him just having his name into the mix to win 30 grand. It's not good enough for him. And I think that's one thing I respect for him. I think he'll come back next year and try even harder, just try to figure out a way to not have shit break. But again, man, that's why we always talk about luck into these things. Little Henny, as much as he drove from the back last year, he still needed a lot of luck to get back up through the field and things to go his way. Although he seemed to or appeared to have the best race car, and the driver did his job as well. Well, go ahead and bring on your winner of this year's second running of the USRA Factory Stock Spring National. He's deserving to be here. He, like I said at the start of this thing, he is undoubtedly one of the best stock car drivers in the country. It doesn't matter what sanction it is. You can say USRA, IMCA. You can take the sanctions off. You can put him on slicks. You can put him on grooves. You can put him on KKs. You can put him on Hoosier G60s. It really doesn't matter, folks. I've watched him win in the limited. I've seen him win in everything he's driven. And I'm not here to kiss your ass tonight, Jeffery Abbey, but you are a madman, Your Honor, a desperate fool on the endless, pitiful ropes. I want to know, and I'll throw it to Cortland here in a few we'll get a few off each, but man, what was your Sunday like? Because we were up. And I say we because I was down there taking pictures of y'all tearing this car apart as the sun is coming up in Greenwood, Louisiana. What was your Sunday like? How far is it from Boot Hill back home? And what was your Sunday like, man? How much sleep did you get?
Man, I think we finally finished up a little after 7 down there. We had a bunch of good guys helping us take that thing down and get it through tech. But man, we got done to about 7. They said, hey, rain's about to be here. So we started throwing stuff in the trailer as fast as we could. Everything's muddy from the night before. I got pulled out of the pits there. I didn't want to be stuck in the rig. So I got out and I said, I might as well drive home. I'm still a little pumped up. I made it about an hour down the road. We pulled off there pretty quick. Had to sleep for a few hours.
Yeah. Man, what's the most exciting part about winning this 30,000 win race for you, Jeffery Abbey? Is it the money? Is it the grind that it takes to get it done? Is it having your son up there on top of the race car with you, like in your arms there? You're throwing the steering wheel. Is it just the culmination of all of that, like all that hard work? What is it for you, man? What's the most exciting part about winning this big race?
Man, all of it. Having him there, the hard work Timmy puts in. Tim Ardman, he owns this thing. He busts his ass to pay for all this stuff, give us good equipment to come out and race for this stuff. Man, it was a hell of a race. Y'all watched it. Man, the race between Justin, me, Neil, all of us. A lot of respect. You normally wouldn't get that race for
Yeah.
30,000, but you get those good guys up there, and it was a hell of a race. It was a lot of fun.
So Jeffrey, I got to ask you this because I almost alluded to it earlier. So like watching you go around Boot Hill, like you seem to check your corner entry up a little bit sooner than everybody else, but you are a master at kissing that's infield skid, the middle skidder tire. And when you leave off a 2, I mean, you absolutely launch. Is that kind of true? Because like watching it from the grandstand, there's several times like dudes who like Neil Kemp had major runs on your back bumper, but you'll check your corner up. And are you doing that just so you know that you can leave better, or what's going like? How do you make a lap around Boot Hill as good as you do? Let's put it out there like that. Like what all does it take to make that happen?
Man, we don't have a whole lot of laps around Boot Hill, but the corners down there in 1 and 2, around the bottom's just so tight. You always got to be free enough to turn down there. And if you can get off that tire coming off of 2 and catch that little bit of meat, normally you can get a pretty good run off the bottom. And like you said, I was backing my entry up. I watched the replay, and I got to give a shout out to Jason Ingles there. He got in there to my left rear and hit the brakes and kind of killed his night to not wipe me out. So, like I said in the interview, there was a lot of respect given between everybody. And yeah, it's check that corner up and try to catch that meat off the bottom. It's not nearly as good as 3 and 4, or as 3 and 4 is not nearly as good as 1 and 2 around the bottom. But once that top cleaned up there and got off that cushion just a little bit, I was able to get up there and roll around there as well.
So talk about how maneuverable. I want you to answer this, and you can go back to Zach here. But talk about how maneuverable and how you set your car up to know that, like, all right, I gotta be able to go down here and be, like you said, free enough to roll down here in this bottom and be able to leave straight, but also know at some point, like you're running the bottom of 1 and 2, and then you're going up there and having to pretty much put her around the lip in 3 and 4. You moved off about a half a groove there as the race went on, kind of cleaned up. It didn't rubber up, but it got cleaned up enough to where you can still make speed up there. But talk about the setup changes you make. You ain't got to give all your speed secrets out by no means, but talk of like in the back of your head. I know that's something you don't want to tighten up too much because you can't roll the bottom, and you want to be free enough to do this, that, and the other. Just kind of talk about like all the progression that goes through your head and sitting there all day long thinking about that, waiting until that Saturday A main rolls out.
Yeah, like Zach said, I was one of the guys there Thursday night saying how bad the car was, scratching our head, didn't know what we were going to do. We were actually getting ready to go out for our qualified hot laps on Saturday night, and me and Justin were watching that B main, and I said, man, they ain't gonna prep this place, are they? He said, no, they ain't gonna do that. Well, then we get in our car and they come with a race receiver. They said, all right, y'all gonna hot lap and we're gonna prep the track. I said, shit, I don't know what we're gonna do now. So I started making my rounds around, try to find Faulkner, ask him how long that prep was going to work, just because we don't have the experience there at the track. We stopped in, talked to Faulkner. He said, it won't last long. I stopped in, asked Caleb Dillard. I know he runs out there quite a bit. He said, man, don't touch it. Just leave her maneuverable and you'll be good to go. You got a good car. So we left her alone, and it paid off.
Man, when cautions are coming out like that in the race, right? I think we had 7 or 8 of them. And it's a 50-lap race. But when the green flag was out, like when Cortland and I have kind of talked about, the racing was phenomenal, man. Like you stayed pressured throughout the whole race until that last green flag run. That was the most breathing room you had for the whole race, was that final green flag run. What was that like from the cockpit when the cautions are coming out like that? Do you like that so you can kind of reset, or do you not like it? Do you want to get into lap traffic? Were you hoping for a longer green flag run? Tell me what you were hoping for as the driver. I know it worked out. It's still great for you, but kind of what was your mindset behind the wheel of the race car as you're racing for that money with all these great drivers that are nipping at your heels?
Man, I was really hoping for them long runs. Our car wasn't very good on the short runs. It took us a few laps to get wound up and get going. But yeah, them cautions, they were killing me. It felt like got out front early, pretty early. I know Justin led the first few laps, and I kind of waited. I didn't know how slimy that bottom was down there. I was gonna figure I'd let a few of those guys get down there and kind of work that in before I moved down there and made our way to the front. But yeah, we got up front, and when you're running up front like that, you don't really know where to go. I know the screen was up in turn one, and that helped me at the end, but I feel like it bit me when Neil was behind me. I look up there coming down the front straightaway and see him on the left rear quarter. So I was like, oh man, he's on the bottom in 3 and 4. So I moved down the next lap, and he drives right by me.
And I think that pace, like you, and also when you're the leader, you really don't know what kind of pace you need to set right. But I felt like the pace of this race, again, we had those cautions, but I felt like the pace when the race was green was a torrid pace, right? And I think as the leader, you never really know how hard you need to go up front. But what was that like for you too? Because again, these cautions keep coming out. But I mean, when you got guys on the outside of you, I mean, I think it sounds silly when I hear people say, oh, he's going to save or he's going to do this or he's going to be patient. Yes, smart drivers like you, Jeffrey, and the 36 and Neil, y'all can be patient. You know how to put your race car and save it for the right time. But man, let's be honest with everybody right now. Listen to this. We're not saving shit anymore in these cars, are we, Jeffrey? You didn't save nothing on Saturday night, did you?
No, not when we're under green, but you do got to be mindful in some of these longer races. But with all these cautions we were having, man, I didn't feel like I was really abusing my stuff early, so I never really felt like we needed to save. I know under caution I wasn't giving her any extra fuel or anything. I know we were going to be close on fuel there at the end. Bogus actually told us in tech, he said, "Man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get a fuel sample of this thing. There ain't much left in it." So
that's
but
pretty
we had
funny.
enough to get her through there.
I did want to talk about that because you said that to me down there. You're like, man, I'm glad that it ended when it ended because we was getting pretty low on gas, which everybody that was talking to me like, can you believe Jeffery Abbey had a 10 or a 12-gallon fuel tank? How many gallons was it?
12-gallon.
It's 12. So why is
Yep.
that, Jeffrey? While everybody else out there is running different sizes, it's so you can put your weight. I don't want to take. You don't have to give everybody your secrets here. I'm not trying to set you up for failure here on Clark After Dark. But I mean, is there a reason for that on why you run such a smaller fuel cell? Because, dude, honestly, how heartbroken would you have been if Jeffery Abbey runs out of gas coming to the white flag for 30K? That'd have been a tough pill to swallow, big dog.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been kind of monitoring how much we burned the few weekends before, and figured we were going to be right about 10 gallons burned. I haven't checked to see how much was in there, but man, I've always ran a big fuel cell in the stock cars in the factories, and when I got this B&B car, Paul said, "Man, I want a 12-gallon fuel cell in there. There ain't no reason to be carrying around all that extra fuel if something does ever happen. I mean, that's just more than can go wrong. More fuel is going to burn if something like that does happen." And like you said, you can kind of move your lead where you want it and kind of get your numbers a little more fine-tuned, and you ain't got to worry about all that slosh weight back there.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like I never in a million. Like I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but the fact that we're running around with a 12-gallon fuel cell, you know what I mean? Like it'd be nothing for me to dump 12 gallons in there throughout a night. Like I would be sitting there dumping 10 gallons for the feature just to get some weight back there. That's crazy to sit here and think. I mean, it's not all means crazy. Like I know, like that is slosh weight back there. Like you said, it's just more weight that just whenever it's moving, it just slings you on around. But another thing you talked about in Victory Lane, watching film. And so nowadays, obviously the national tour guys and all these guys that have streaming and has that as a tool, they know they can go watch all these races. And now because of RaceON, so many of these local tracks give you that option to go back and watch the races. You said you were watching film when you were on a cruise ship, I believe. Like, tell me, like, what do you just go back and watch last year's race? Do you go back and watch several races? Like, what is a film study session like this for the old Jeffery Abbey? Like, are you going through making notes of track changes and going back and checking my race pass and looking at lap times at that event, at the video you were watching? Like, what does this film session look like?
Yeah, we left for a cruise the Friday before, and we got off the cruise ship Thursday morning before practice and drove straight to the track. But yeah, we were sitting there on the cruise. We're watching all the heat races from the year before, watching the feature, just kind of watching how the track changes, what the track does. Like I said before, we don't have a lot of laps around Boo Hill. We don't know what the track does every night. I watched a couple nights before that they ran, just keeping a kind of mindful of what the track does, how it races, who's going to be going where. You can get a pretty good idea of it. Like I said in my interview there, I watched Hennigan roll the middle right there. I think y'all had 22 green flag laps at the deal last year, so I knew the middle was going to be pretty good. I felt like when I was parking around the tires there in 1 and 2, I was really hurting myself. But going back and watching the video of this race, I was getting a really good run when I would park it off right around the tires.
So Tell the people, because I walk over there Friday, and Zach, I don't know if I told you this, but I walk over there Friday and they got 12 people, all hands on deck over here. It seemed like on the H237 camp. And I was just making my rounds to go talk, but obviously they were getting work done. So I just kind of moseyed my own way, because when a bunch of people are looking at the engine compartment on a Friday morning right before or mid-afternoon, like I knew something was going on. So explain to people what y'all are working on that Friday. Obviously y'all had some issues there after practice night. Just kind of allude to your weekend and you know all the stuff that can go wrong and what you had to fix there in that situation.
Yeah, so right before we were getting ready to load up, it was Thursday before we went on our cruise. I was getting ready to take the rig to Michael, Martin, and Timmy so they could haul the car out there for us after we got off the cruise ship. And we found a pretty bad rear main oil leak there. So we had to pull that out, fix the rear main. Timmy had to get it all put back in. And I think he took off a day or two of work there. Jet Heffy helped him on that. Jackie, both of them guys helped him. We got that put back in. And then practice night, we got it in. And just didn't feel like we had the speed we normally do. Didn't feel like it was crap running right. So we were nut bolting everything on Saturday, checking over everything. And I reach up and I grab the distributor, set my hand on it to move, and it thing spins around. Shit. So I grab a 9/16, go to tighten it up there, and the stud that the hold down tightens up on just snapped right off in the intake. So we pulled the distributor out. Richie Swartz, Ryan Miller, man, they jumped right in and got to ease out in there. And Jason Gore was helping. Man, there was just, like you said, everybody around us came to help. So yeah, I can't thank them guys enough. We got it out of there, got the distributor stab back in, and we're ready to go racing.
You talked about him a little bit, and I'll let Zach have you after this. That Tim Hardman, there's a lot of car owners out there, and I'm not saying that they don't work on their own stuff, but like for a guy like him, dude, old Timmy, like he is all about it. And when I say all about it, he will be the dirtiest one at the end of the night. Just talk about Tim Hardman a little bit. Like he's a homie. We hung out at 67, like me, like we're boys. He's a great time. It seems like a great guy. He's a great guy to be around. Obviously, you love driving for him. Just talk about Tim Hardman a little bit.
Yeah, man, he actually gave me a call last year to go get this thing ready for that 30,000, and we prepped it all, got it all ready to go. And then the week came of the race, and it rained out, and they had to postpone. Once that deal postponed, man, we had a trip planned to Iowa to race the stock car up there for a week, and we weren't able to make it. Terry Pritchett actually drove it last year at this deal, and man, I don't have many regrets in life, but that's one of them, missing this deal last year. So we weren't gonna miss it again this year. Yeah, like you said, he busts his ass. He works a lot of overtime, and he's always working to pay for this stuff. I mean, I live 2 hours from him, 2.5 hours from him, and when the car's over here, he's trying to find a day to come down here and help on it, man. He at the track, you see him, he looks like he's homeless. He got dirt everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, he busts his ass on this thing, and I can't thank him enough for giving me the opportunity to drive it.
Man, he is a great guy. Like he really has. I've gotten to really, really like him. I respect him a lot. Is that when y'all met though? Like, he took it away from me. It's a perfect segue. I was actually going to ask you how long you've known Tim Hardman, and I guess you just said, I guess you haven't known him very long. Then, like, have you kind of known him through racing, or did y'all have connections of people that you knew that knew him, and kind of how did this connection start, and when did y'all officially meet? I guess that started this lethal combination.
So yeah, man, I guess it was probably 2 or 3 years ago. He was buying shocks from me for his car, and got to know him that way. And man, it turned into what it is today.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Hey, I don't want. I listen. I don't. I got a couple things here. You kind of said it with the fuel. That whole debacle. Can we even say it's a debacle? I know it kind of got nipped in the bud pretty quick, but that whole deal at Texarkana. I know you're a guy who you're all about sportsmanship and you like to win legally, right? Like, and then by the way, at Lucas Oil, we were both up there at Wheatland just a couple of months ago. You won 2 races out of 3 in the Ironman stock cars, and you never actually went underneath the checkered flag first because your car was right. And these guys I think Shane Bailey got DQ'd. I think the 21 of Johnny Finewald got DQ'd that weekend. And hey, I'm not saying we're all not trying to push a gray area, but back to the factory stock frenzy, $7,500 last season at Texarkana. That whole debacle with the fuel, right? Like everybody's going to the gas station trying to figure out which fuel is oxygenated. And like that was like a big stink, right? Like, and I know you, let's be honest, like I know you absolutely hated that, right? Let's be honest. I know you hated it. Tim hated it. Peyton Taylor probably hated it. Steve Bogus even hated it. The tech man. That was just a whole, like that deal sucked, right? Like I know you really love the fact that you got this win, like, and you got it done the right. There's none of that bullshit going on this year. I know you probably really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. That whole deal, I didn't know it was in it. We were buying that fuel. Timmy had been running it for a lot of years. I know a lot of the guys around the DFW area were running it, and didn't feel like anything was wrong with it. And man, it tested otherwise with USRA's testing procedures, but we actually sent it to Chuck at Best, and he dynoed it, and we were actually losing a little bit of horsepower on it. I think it was a couple horsepower less, and it had a little bit more torque, but yeah, we switched over to 110, and I know that kind of put a shade over the first Crown Jewel we won there, but to come back and have the performance we did at the King of the Hill for the heat races, we rained out and had to come back, and the track wasn't what we normally perform very well on. But to come back here and win both heat races in the spring nationals is pretty awesome, and to stay up till 7 a.m. in Tech, it sucks, but man, it was worth it.
Man, I'll throw it back to Cortland. One final thing here is how busy are you day to day with CRS suspension? And I know you take a lot of pride in that. You know how many customers, man. You had some really strong finishes this weekend. Obviously, you got the win, but you also had some really good race cars that finished inside of the top 10. How much pride do you take in that? And kind of what does a day to day? What's a day look like for Jeffery Abbey with all this shock stuff you got going on?
Man, yeah. So we've been since 2020, right during COVID. We've kind of been through a couple different phases with CRS. GW Egbert actually bought it originally, and I was kind of a partner there working on it, and we worked with him there until 2022, and then I kind of took over from there. Man, but we've done it full time since 2020. Man, we've learned a lot, had a lot of great customers, and I know I take pride in building everybody's stuff and helping people most of all. And a lot of the guys out in the Arklatex region, I know I talked to them on the phone, but normally I haven't never put a face to the name, so I try to go around when I'm down there and look who all's got my stuff on there. Chris Sawyer is one of them. I had no idea he had a set on his car. We were rolling through the pits and seen a set. Stopped in there, talked to him for a while, see if he needed anything. He actually bought a set off somebody else. So yeah, it was cool seeing him run good all weekend. And man, we just enjoy helping everybody we can. I know if I see somebody struggling, I try to reach out to them and see if there's anything I can do to make their program better.
That's pretty awesome, man. True professional right here, folks. Jeffery Abbey. No surprise why he won 30 racks on Saturday night. I got one more, and I'm going to throw it back over to Cortland. I didn't want to let this one get away, but he might have got it before me if I didn't. But either way, it doesn't matter because I think we all want to know the answer here. If we were all lined up in identical race cars, okay, if we're all lined up in identical race cars, who's winning the race? If Dean's on the pole, Weston's outside, Jeffrey starts third, it don't matter. I don't care. You can put you on the pole. Dude, you have got – I don't know. I don't know for sure if we could say this, but I think the Abbey bunch might be some of the. They are okay. It's not a might. They are the best. Some of the best race car drivers in the country, dude. You have two brothers that are just as salty. I'm not gonna say if not better. No disrespect to you, but maybe if not better than you, Jeffrey. I mean, how cool is that, man? But if we all lined up in identical race cars, who's winning? You, Dean, or Weston?
Man, so I've actually got a fourth brother as well. He's pretty damn good too. He ran sport mods all through high school. He actually his rookie year in Southern Sport Mods, he raced for a track championship against Keith White when Keith was in his prime. I mean, everybody knows Keith White, and he's a badass. But he actually beat him out of a track championship at Kennedale, and he moved off to college, and he don't race no more. But out of the four of us, we lined us all up. I know me and Dean, we work on our stuff a lot. Weston, he's gotten better about it throughout the years, but I know back there for a few years, he would air the tires up on that thing and go racing and kick our ass. So Weston's probably the best one, but we're going to tell everybody I am.
Yeah. You should really be proud of that, man. That's really awesome. You three dudes, man, y'all are jam up too, man. All great guys. I mean, y'all can wheel the SHIT out of a car. Go ahead, Cortland.
No, you're good. So talking about all of them, how did y'all get y'all start racing? Like, obviously this is a racing family. So just talk about that a little bit for anybody that doesn't know. I'm gonna leave that open-ended. Like, how did y'all get into racing? I mean, you started racing at a young age. I think you probably won an IMCA Southern Sport Mod National Championship before you had your driver license, right? Like, how did y'all get started? Everybody got started at a real young age. Like, just kind of give us a little bit of brief history on that.
Yeah, so my dad ran hot stocks back at 281 Speedway, and then both my older brothers, Dean and Steven, Steven's about 7 years older than me. Dean's about 8 years older than me. They started racing go-karts. We ran asphalt and got into the dirt stuff. So they raced all that stuff their whole life. When I was 5, I believe, I got in a go-kart. And, man, we never quit from there. We raced that for a few years. And then we ran bandoleros on asphalt and legend cars. We traveled all over the place. Spent a couple summers up in North Carolina living with some people up there and just racing that summer shootout at Charlotte. That was really cool. I've been blessed to race a lot of cool stuff. I think when I was 13 or 14, we got a Southern Sport mod and started racing our dirt stuff.
So I got two more questions on this one, but so the tech thing. Have you ever had any more extensive of a teardown than that Steve Bogus yellow legal notepad than what you had to sit there and get signed off all night long? Have you? I mean, you've won at Batesville, you won IMCA, like you won hell. Yeah, I know the
I took
illegal
that picture
notepad.
of
I'm
Jeffrey
telling you,
and him and Tim holding the notepad. Isn't that awesome?
Yes, that is a Steve Bogus staple. And if you're a winner, you got 2 or 3 sheets front and back. It's not just it ain't just the front and then flip the page over. It's front and back probably on both of them. But yeah, like if y'all go ahead and just if y'all don't think it was legal, then y'all can sit there till 7 o'clock in the morning, like you said. But have you ever had such an extensive teardown at any race you won? You won at Batesville, you won at IMCA, you won at Lucas Oil. Have you ever had such an extensive teardown?
Yeah, no, everybody talks about the tech of the IMCA Super Nationals when you make it in, and yeah, we've tore our heads off there. We've looked inside of our rear end, but man, ain't nothing like that. And that's what I was telling somebody. You can go in a 5,000-10,000 to win stock car race and check a carburetor, check cubic inch. We did that on practice or on prelim night here at Boot Hill. So no, but it's good. You're racing for this much money. You gotta make sure everybody's right, and I think it's good what Steve does. He's one of the best around to do it.
So you can't say Boot Hill. I'll give you to Zach. But what has been your favorite racetrack you've been to? Because like whether people realize it or not, I know everybody around here kind of knows you, but like you ain't scared to travel and go off everywhere, right? Like I mean, you've raced all over the country. So what's a couple of those places that you wish were either closer or wish that you made the trip to more often?
Yeah, man, my favorite racetrack's probably Batesville out there in Arkansas, man. I love that place. The first time I pulled in there, I said, man, we pulled in the pit gate. I said, I don't think this is the place I've seen on TV. And once we got on the track, I said, oh yeah, this place is badass. So we got on there, and like I said, we've raced on a ton of cool places. I think a lot of people from Waco will probably remember this. Me and Weston, I think I was 15, he was 14. We got a 48-foot trailer and my Sport Mod and mini stock out there, and I'm driving out there 2 hours away from Comanche with my learner's permit to go race on a Friday night when my dad's still working. So me and him, we've raced all over the place together. It's been a lot of fun. I think I was 18, he was 17. We go to North Dakota to run the North Dakota Mod Tour for a week and worried about if we can get across the border to Canada to go race because he's a minor and we don't have nobody with us. So man, this racing deal's been it's been a blast, and we've done a lot of cool things through it.
Well, Zach can probably, if he doesn't ask you, I'll ask you a wild story. But you mentioned Batesville being one of your favorite places. Is it the speed, or is it the fact that a place like that favors an old Jeffery Abbey where you get it over there on the right front and you just go around there and you steer, right? Like, because that back straightaway never gets straight. Like you're just making. If anybody's never seen it, you never watch Batesville, pull up a Google Earth image and you will see it is just a gigantic circle. Bates Vegas, yes sir. Climb up the hill, go watch it on top of the hill up there. But like, why is Batesville your favorite? Is it the speed, or is it that you make a big circle and you're always turning? What about it's your favorite? And then Zach can have
man, my stuff always works really good there. But man, it's super fast. It's normally slick. It's got some character in it. It's pretty technical. I mean, Mooney over there, he'll be the first one to tell you there's gonna be a hole here. There's gonna be a hole there. If you don't like it, the pit gate's over there. Get you a hot dog on your way out. So man, no,
there's always a hole in turn one. There's always a hole in turn one at Batesville. I guarantee it. Like it's no matter what class, what car, there's a hole in the middle of turn one.
Mooney Star is the best. Man. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeffrey. Go ahead, Zach.
I was saying, man, Mooney Star is like, just think about how hard he has to, extra hard. Like people talk about all the silly videos and all the promotions he does. But man, Mooney has to do that, right? To get people down to his racetrack. Just think about all the additional and extra things he has to do just because he's off the beaten path, right? Like he is hands down, and this isn't a shot to any other promoters, or I know every racetrack promoter and owner work very hard in this country, but man, Mooney Star, as long as he's been at it, man, like, man, I just have so much respect for him, right? Like he does a lot to get a lot of you IMCA stock car guys down there for these big races, right? The Race for Hope deal. Like he's always thinking outside of the box for you racers, isn't he, Jeffrey?
Oh yeah, for sure. We've been down there. I think he had a 50,000 to win stock car race down there, and we rained out 2 or 3 of the nights, and he said, man, everybody in the pits, y'all load up. We got the bus. We packed the track in. We're going down to the local steakhouse. I'm buying you all a steak dinner. So he loaded everybody in the pits up, and we went down to the steakhouse and had a dinner. The trip back, it was a little sketchy. We were holding flashlights on our phones up to the windshield because the damn bus didn't have no lights. But man, it's a cool to go down there, and all the work he puts in, and all the work all these promoters, man, put in. Rilo and Bubba, I know I talked to both of them on separate occasions on Saturday after that rain, and they said, man, this damn rain, it makes everything 10 times harder. But man, they busted their ass all day and gave us a badass track to race on, and we like you seen, we could race all over that place. So props to them, props to all these promoters that do this. If they ain't there putting the work in at these tracks, we don't have no place to race. So you gotta give props to them.
What's next for you, Jeffrey? Like, we never really know what you guys are up to, right? Like Weston hadn't raced a ton, here in recent memory. Dean's racing mods, right? He was in crate late models just a couple years ago, right? You've raced limited in your career. I know you've got the stock car, and man, this B&B race car. I know this RaceON All-Star Challenge is probably on the docket, but just kind of what's next for Jeffery Abbey right now? Is the focus all on this factory and the stock car right now?
Yeah, we were gonna try to get a weekend in on stock car here, but we're gonna get that thing put back together and come see y'all at the Darty at Sabine. We've raced over there once before in the crate late model, and we've ran once at Arklatex in the crate late model. So we're gonna head back down there at the factory stock for the Triple Crown, see if we can't make something happen.
You enjoy that racing in different areas and around different competitions. I know you've raced around Whitehead and Kent, but I don't think you've really done it a ton over the years, right? Like he'll come down to Heart of Texas. I think I told you before we started tonight, I was thinking back to those Sport Mod Nationals. I mentioned Robert Scrivener's name, which I haven't heard. I don't even think I mentioned his name ever on this pod, but like, man, the racing changes over the years, right? Like you go from limited, you go to this, you go to that. Oftentimes, you look around you in different areas of the country, it's a lot of the players that you've raced against. But when you come to these new places like Vivian, you get a whole new slew of characters you get to race against. I think you enjoy that, don't you? Like a different challenge, because you hear it all the time, right? Like, and you watch them, like, Whitehead's good around here, but there's a lot of other really good race car drivers that are just as good. I don't say if not better, but I mean, there really are some really good race car drivers in this area. I know you love that kind of challenge.
Yeah, absolutely, and I get that a lot because like you said, we race a lot of different stuff when we go up to Iowa and all over in the stock car. There's a big variety of guys we race with. Even over in Louisiana, a lot of the guys we don't normally race with. One of the biggest differences, I guess, of drivers is when we went and ran the Chili Bowl a few times. Man, I roll up in a heat race, I don't know any of those guys, so we just go out there and rip it no matter who we're running against.
Speaking of the Chili Bowl, you had a pretty good run this year, right? Like, I mean, my boy was wheeling in the old midget and then Tulsa Expo Center. Like, I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. We ran the Chili Bowl the past 2 years. The first year there, and I think we missed our prelim night by a few spots, and then ended in an F main on Saturday. We ran it throughout the year 3 or 4 times. Didn't make A main one, and we go back to the Chili Bowl. The first A main we make in a midget is our prelim night at Chili Bowl. So that was pretty cool, and we raced up, and I think we finally finished in a D main. We wanted to go a couple more mains and get on to when the main show starts for Saturday night. But man, that thing's a blast. I can't thank Christian Miller at Panther City and Jonathan Beeson and Hydrostatic Pipe Services, the Demings, man. They make all that possible, and we have a lot of fun going to do the Chili Bowl. If that's a race you haven't been to, I'd recommend going, man. Find your group, go down there. It's pretty badass. It's a fun week.
Yeah, I will say you saved your boys' dirt draft that night. I picked you on dirt draft, and I had a pretty good lineup with you in there, so I'll go ahead. But you talk about the Chili Bowl. Yeah, no, cuz I had faith in you. I had faith in the homie. I appreciate you saying the Darty's on the schedule. You probably just hurt some of the car count. Some guys might not show up, but thank you for that. But you talked about traveling all across the country and doing that. You ain't got to say it. You ain't got to throw nobody under the bus. But is this USRA factory stock as competitive as we think it really is? You're a guy that's raced an IMCA stock car elsewhere. You've raced a lot of things all over. Is this really one of the most competitive classes? Or at the end of the day, there's great racers and there's great teams all across the country that's tough to race with? Or can we claim that like this is probably one of the most competitive classes in dirt track racing?
Oh, there's good racers and good teams all across the country, but man, these guys in the factory stock class, I know y'all kind of mentioned it there a little bit ago. The Arklatex guys kind of dominated Boot Hill forever, but these DFW guys, man, more and more of them been coming over here and tuning that stuff in and working on their cars, and man, it really showed this past weekend. I feel like there was a lot of DFW guys that ran really good. I think you said there was four or five of them in the top 10. But one that I wanted to give a shout out that didn't make a show. He had speed all weekend. Kind of had some shit luck in both heat races. Got wiped out there, but man, Nate Dixon, he'd get up around the top and he was ripping it, man, all weekend.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know if him and Brett Frazier are going to be exchanging any kind of cards anytime soon. And yeah, we may have should have talked about that a little bit because that was one of the storylines from this weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about that before we get out. Yeah, the Brett Frazier did not make too many friends this weekend, and yeah, that just kind of was what it was. And I'm not bringing it up to pick on Brett. Like, we love Brett. We've watched Brett race for many years. Like, we couldn't figure out if we were just going to chalk that up to 30,000. You know, it were race for 30 grand, or it's just ultimate disrespect. I think. I don't know. It was that was pretty tough to see. Him and Moppin got together, and then him. But again, I'm not here to pick on you, Brett. If you listen to this podcast, man, we've been watching you. We know you're better than that. That's all. You know, it was tough. But again, hey, it is what it is. And unfortunately, his night didn't go how he wanted it on Saturday. Jeffrey, before we get out of here, we got a few more minutes here. I want to ask you some off the cuff questions here. Who is your favorite race car driver? I know you wouldn't say yourself because you're not an arrogant guy, but I mean, who is it Bobby Pierce? I mean, if you're watching a super late model race, you pulling for Davenport, Pierce, who's your favorite race car driver? You can tell me a mod guy and a late model guy if you want, or a sprint car guy. Like, what do you enjoy watching?
Man, in the late model stuff, Bobby Pierce, everybody dogged on him for a long time. I've always been a fan of him. He gets out there and rips it. Him and JD, man, they're both wheels. So I enjoy watching them. Sprint car stuff, just kind of all around. Will, man, you gotta think everybody's got to say Kyle Larson. He's one of the most versatile to do it. But man, we just enjoy watching good races if we're not in them.
Absolutely. And finally, what I know I brought this up to you too before we started recording. I said, man, I might even bring up later. Cortland's going to laugh at this because he wasn't in here yet. Dude, you remember that run in you have with Shelby Williams at TMS? And I think y'all are probably cool now. Like, I'm sure y'all are both, but y'all are fierce rivals too in this stock car stuff. Like, y'all are both from Texas, so when y'all travel off, like, you know, you've got to outrun Shelby Williams, and I think Shelby Williams knows that he's got to outrun Jeffery Abbey, right? I think there's a mutual respect there, despite there probably being a friendly rivalry mixed in too. And that's what makes the sport go around, right? Like, we don't need Jeffery and Shelby being the best of friends. We need a little respect there, which y'all do, and there's sportsmanship. But talk about that time at TMS when y'all are down there in Victor Lane after the run in on a Monday night at TMS racing for some good money, and you had a track official come down because you were working the crowd, weren't you? Like, can you put yourself back into that moment? You were up there working the crowd, Shelby, and you were down in Victory Lane, and a track official walks up and pulls your damn ankles from the top of the race car. What can you remember from that night? Like, we're just here having a good time joking. It's been 4 or 5 years. You can tell us what happened that night.
Yeah, it wasn't one of my proudest moments looking back on it now, but yeah, me and Shelby there, we got rowdy a couple times there for a few months, but no, we're all good now. But man, that race was wild. We actually had a wedding to go to that week, so we weren't able to run any of the qualifying. I think they raced for 4 or 5 days leading up to that, and we weren't able to make any of the qualifying nights, and they didn't have enough cars for a B main, so we showed up on Saturday with the stock car in the factory and drove our way from the back to the front in the stock car and got tangled up there. And yeah, we let the emotions get the best of us, pulled down in Victory Lane, but man, that was actually one of the wildest. I don't know how many people were there that night, but that's the loudest I've ever heard a crowd scream, man. It was crazy. Didn't really know who pulled us off the roof there until we watched the replay, right. But man, that was a wild night for sure. We got escorted out of the pits and didn't even fight nobody. So
that video has been seen by like 1.3 million times too. That whole deal had made it rounds viral on social media. Go ahead, Cortland.
Yeah. I think I looked back there a couple. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, finish you.
I think I looked back there a couple, probably a year ago, and that video had like 4.3 million views or something.
Wow. So, I was way off.
You're worldwide known, bud. But last question I got for you is Jeffery Abbey happy, with what you're doing right now, racing the stock car, racing this factory stock for Tim Harmon, and you got your stock car program and CRS. Like, are you happy right now, or is there a plan to maybe do something bigger, or you're just waiting on the opportunity, right? Like, what is this future looking for Jeffery Abbey? Are you content with just making CRS as big as it is and race your couple stock cars, or is there a drive to like, hey, I want to go out race for a national tour for a living one day?
I mean, right now I'm happy with where I'm at. I got a good business, a good family, a good few rides. I grew up at the racetrack. I want my little boy to grow up at the racetrack. I mean, I think y'all seen him there Saturday packing the track on top of
Yeah.
the car. Man, he's ate up with it. Where I'm at in life now, I mean, 5-6 years ago, yeah, I'd love to go run a national tour. Just right now, I just don't think it would be something I could go out and commit to for a full season. I mean, it would be cool, but man, right now I'm happy running a stock car, going up to Iowa for a week, going hit all these races in factory stock. We're having a blast doing it.
You're one of the best to do it, man. There's no doubt about it. You proved it again on Saturday night, man. Straight from the cruise ship to the slab for $30K. It was slab season at the Hill on Saturday night, man. I'm sure winning at the legendary Boot Hill Speedway too. I said that to you in your Victor Lane interview. Your brother Dean won 10 grand, the West Grigsby Memorial down there. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, you guys have been able to put your staple on racing in the great state of Texas. You've done it in Iowa, and to do it in the state of Louisiana too, a place where both your brother, won. I mean, Boot Hill's one of the most legendary racetracks. A lot of people don't know this, and it doesn't get the credit for it, but, Boot Hill hosted the first ever World of Outlaw sprint car race. The next night, Devil's Bowl gets the credit, but all those guys were at Boot Hill the night before in 1978. So, yeah, man, Boot Hill has a ton of rich history. So I'm sure it's pretty cool for you to put your name into the history books there at that legendary racetrack that's been going since 1973. The final thing here, man, I want to give you the floor and allow you to thank anybody that has helped you out from the beginning in your racing career all the way to now. And it could be anybody and everybody if you'd like, man. The floor is yours.
Man, I got a ton of people to thank. My wife and like I said, my son. They put up with me spending tons of hours in the shop getting this stuff ready. Tim Hardman for putting me in the best equipment there is. B&B Racing Chassis, AFCO Shock, CRS Suspension, Hydrostatic Pipe Service, Panther City Resources, Supreme Vinyl Works, 4Wide Industries, KS Engineering, Best Engines, Lynn Racing Tires, man, everybody on the side of my stuff, NTX Towing, JM Martin Contracting, all the guys that came down there and helped in tech and helped all weekend this weekend to make this 30,000 happen, man. I couldn't do it without them. But yeah, everybody, I'm sure I'm forgetting a few people. But yeah, everybody that helps me, man, I can't do it without them. I gotta thank my dad for everything he's done from the time I was 5-6 years old until now. He's still helping us. He watches every race and he comes when he can, and I just can't thank him enough. Can't thank everybody that supported me through all these years to allow me to do it this long.
Pretty awesome, man. You're quite the accomplished driver. Great dude, too, on the outside of the race car. I think that's why a lot of people love and respect you, man. And we appreciate your time here tonight, Jeffrey. Congratulations on a massive, massive win at Boot Hill Speedway, man. I know you'll come back next year and try to give it another shot, as will everybody else, man. 128 cars checked in on Thursday night or Friday night, and you were the baddest hot rod of the bunch, man, and certainly did the job as the driver. Congratulations to you, Jeffy, man. You got up on the wheel and you earned it, man.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me on. And what are the dates of the King of Hill? I may need to plan another cruise before that one as well.
Yeah. Well, we have to pull that mug up for you real quick, but
I got you. Yeah. King of the Hill, August 27th to the 29th, my man.
Yep.
Yeah, my wife would like to hear that.
It's gonna be a little hotter in August. That there is no doubt. Hey, another thing we hit on too, despite the rain, like the weather was awesome this weekend. It wasn't too humid. We were in like hell. I was wearing a hoodie on Thursday night. Like, get it together. Yeah. Not bad for Louisiana in the month of May. Thanks a lot, Jeffrey. Be blessed. Be a blessing. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the podcast tonight. This has been episode 84. Thank you, Jeffery Abbey. Congratulations to him for a big-time score at the legendary Boot Hill Speedway on Saturday night. Thanks for everybody for listening to this point. Be blessed and be a blessing. We'll see you at the Darty Smith Memorial at Sabine Speedway with the RaceON All-Star Challenge next week on May the 22nd. But we do have a pod before then, so we'll talk to you guys before we get there. Y'all be good. We'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Thank y'all.
Later.